Hello, people. So, I hope you're doing good today. So, the last few videos that I have made, specifically the last one that I have made, it's on Alex O'Connor becoming a Christian reaction and commentary. So basically, I got a bunch of comments. They were nonsensical to me for the most part, and then I got a third comment which says something like, "Just because you got something to say does not mean you should say or you should." And I was like, um, I will say what I like whenever I like. Thank you for watching. And then he responded by something like, "Funny how you won't address the comment who actually challenges your position, but the obviously joke one says a lot about your character." Well, okay, you know a lot about my character from a video that you watch. I would say you don't know me, I don't know you. But this comment, is pretty interesting, so that he thought that the other comments had points. And I just want to reply. I mean, I've been thinking about it. It's probably not very healthy that I'm lingering on these things, even though that I know it's really dumb. Um, but I got something to say. I like to talk. I like to express my opinion. So let's just dive into it, right? So so there is a long one, and then you would have a short one. So let's address the short one first, right? Here, let's try to get it here. So yeah, so you might be able to see it here. It says, "Lol, two small points here. Alex is not becoming an atheist." Where do I begin here? Like, where do I begin? If you have watched this video, you would know that atheist, I mean, Alex is not becoming an atheist whatso a freaking ever. He did not state that. I did not state that. So I don't know, where did he bring this? So either that he did not watch the video, or he was just hallucinating. He was drunk. He was on some kind of MDMA, LSD, or whatever drugs that people nowadays do. And he was on these things while he was watching, or he didn't watch it and he came up with this imagination, like that he thought that I said, or something that entailed that he's becoming an atheist. Alex is an atheist, and he's coming out to say that he is becoming an agnostic, right? I didn't say otherwise. He didn't say otherwise. So I don't know from which pocket out of your back did you pull that away from. He's becoming an atheist. And then the second point, which is not really a point, it says, "Your dumb argument disproves nothing." I'm guessing this is a reference to a previous video. He had no, like, he look, saying something does not make it really true. If you say, "Oh, your argument is not disproving anything," based on what? So okay, so these two points is like, just me just reading them is making me lose brain cells at this point. Like, I'm serious, like I'm feeling nauseous from the amount of cringe that you know. But hey, why not? Let's just respond to it and then go away. Go away where? Where am I gonna go away? I'm exactly where I want to be, buddy. Let's see the long one. Okay, so this one is. Let's just begin. I'm just. Alright, so being Christian YouTuber means you can be dishonest if not openly lie. I've not said anything like that. I didn't say being Christian YouTuber can be dishonest if not openly lie. For the sake of no, but for the sake of clicks. No, it's not the fact that being a Christian YouTuber specifically means you are entitled to that, but this is in general. Anybody who is on YouTube legally, they're allowed to do that, right? Now, morally, should they do that? Probably not. But being a YouTuber, it's sort of part of the YouTuber's job to try to catch people's attention. Being a Christian or not, this has nothing to do with it. So this is the first part. Why am I not surprised? I don't get that. It's also ironic how you accuse Alex of having no morality and call him a grifter simply because he's an atheist. This is a total misunderstanding and just warping of what I exactly said in the video. I didn't say that Alex have no morality. I'm saying that atheists have, let's say, a more challenging time with morality. See, because atheists have no code of ethics. They would have to go by, well, some people are utilitarian, meaning that they go with what has the most utility, and there is constant discussion between atheists on how is morality constructed. And so being an atheist naturally would put you at a position where it would be understandable, let's say, if you have no morality. So this is a very specific thing that I said. I didn't say that he has no morality because he's an atheist, and calling him a grifter simply because he's an atheist. Again, it's not something that I said. This person either been smoking really heavy while watching this, and this person is very apparent from this long comment, like, you just like, oh my gosh, I gotta reply to this. I write all of this which nobody is really gonna see. This is a very small channel, so, but I guess this will make this more apparent, which I don't really mind. All comments are welcome. You hate me, you like me, you're very welcome to comment. It really, just makes my channel more visible and some overall good for me. But yeah, so he said that I called him a grifter simply because he's an atheist. No, I said, if I do remember what I said something of the sort that um, oh yeah, so that he could be. See, you see, I do not know Alex in person. This person most likely does not know Alex in person, right? So what I said is that he could be grifting. I wouldn't know. You wouldn't know either. I'm not accusing him of being a grifter because he's an atheist. I am saying that he could be a grifter, which we would not know. So when he comes out and say, he's calling me a grifter, who the heck knows? Like, you are not disproving it, and you are not proving it either. And it's very hard to know, honestly. I mean, and while simultaneously defending blatant grifting and lying on Christians. I didn't defend them. I said that people are enticed to do such a thing, just like Alex, just like them. If they're grifting, if they're really grifting, then there is nothing in YouTube that says that you can't do that. You can grift as much as you want, buddy. You can grift. Let's see how much. I don't know if, like, I don't have the window to see what your channel looks like, but many people would grift when they get the opportunity to. Now let's see the second point, right? Do you genuinely believe that finding Christianity more plausible means someone is clear path toward theism? Again, this is a misunderstanding. I don't know if this person has a low IQ or has been high or drunk or something, but let's address that. So to come from a background that you say Christianity is not plausible, than to say Christianity is more plausible. The second position is inherently, objectively closer to Christianity. If you have a Christian right here, just right in front of you, and you ask him, you have two people, one that says God does not exist, period, is not plausible at all, or person two who says that Christianity is more plausible. If you ask him which one is closer to you, he would say, well, the one that says Christianity is more plausible. So when person moves from position A to position B, he is objectively taking a step towards Christianity, whether you like that or not. That is objectively, if you're taking a position that is closer to something, then that's called going towards it. That's what that sentence means. If you have a trouble understanding that, that's none of my fault. Enough to assure us, this is the other part of his second point, apparently. I even hate calling them points. I'm just... so the second part, or the other part of his his little paragraph here. Enough to assure us he is destined to convert. It's no wonder you Christians misinterpret so many things from the Bible to reality itself. You exist in a perpetual state of wishful thinking. So okay, so he's assuming that I am a Christian. That's which is kind of ironic because he thinks that I'm wherever. So he thinks I'm a Christian. I didn't say I am a Christian. Now whether I'm a Christian or not, I like to keep this sort of personal. But you assuming that I am a Christian when I said nothing about that is, that kind of says about your character. that you really love to assume things and project things, or pull stuff out of your imagination on this on on a situation, and then enough to assure us that he is destined to convert. Yes, I actually do believe that. And this is, I did admit inside of the video, there is no logical. This is not something that is built on logic. It's more of a hunch on my end. And I didn't say he's gonna become a Christian. I'm saying he's gonna become in a place where he's practicing some sort of a theology. This could be Buddhism. This could be anything else. I didn't say Christianity, but yeah, this is my belief, and it's based on a hunch. I'm having this intuitive thought that he's going to become a Christian. And I feel very sure of it. Now, I might be wrong, which I don't have a problem with. People are wrong from time to time. And this is not based on some sort of logical argument here. So it's just a belief that I have, sort of like, if you do believe that your girlfriend, if you ever have one, loves you, that's the belief, especially if she didn't show you anything like that, but you just have a hunch that she does, or your mother, or wherever, any sort of belief that you have based on a hunch. So this is this kind of thing. It's not like an argument. And yeah, and so he just continues in like this kind of assumptions, like from the Bible to reality itself, you exist in a perpetual state of wishful thinking. I don't wish for him. Okay, so this is another jump. He thinks that I'm wishing for him to become a person of a theology. No, I don't really wish that. I don't know. I mean, would it be better? I don't think it's gonna affect you. Is gonna affect me as much. I actually maybe I would not like that. Maybe I don't think I would wish for him to become somebody who has a theology, on the basis that there's a growing rise in the right movement, and so this sort of, I don't know. It might has to do with empowering them. So I don't know. But I certainly do not wish for that wishful thinking. It is amusing. So this is the third point. It is amusing. Here, let's also kind of adjust this thing to make it on his third point, so you can clearly see. Okay, so it's amusing that Alex thinks Christianity appears more plausible once you move beyond new atheist rhetoric. In reality, a deeper reading of the Bible than the one offered by Dawkins and his peers reveals a greater magnitude of contradictions, historical inaccuracies, and scientific errors. You also see why Christians hermeneutics, if this how you pronounce that, which often try to reconcile passages by claiming they are not literal, fails and betrays their original context. Furthermore, you'll learn that Jesus not only fails to fulfill actual Jewish prophecies, but Christians frequently misrepresent Old Testament passages as prophecies to force a fit. Finally, you discover that there are far more powerful philosophical arguments against theism and Christianity than just the problem of evil, including serious flaws in both classical and neo-classical models of God that Christians defend. Now, for this paragraph, there is one thing missing. One big thing. It's kind of the main thing here. The point. Where is the point? You just made a purely opinion. This is a pure opinion. You're saying that if you read this, then you will find this and that. This is your personal opinion. There is no proof. There is nowhere that there's a logical proof that you would. There is no point. This is more like you're expressing your emotions and your beliefs. But there is no point there. You're just expressing yourself, which there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're making points, I mean, I guess he didn't even say that he's making points, but you would think that a militant atheist, which he looks like to be, would be that sort of person. But yeah, so this is not even a point, so there is nothing to reply there. I just believe that he's sort of wrong about most of these things. Your arrogance have no bounds if you think you can actually resolve the problem of evil, especially with the ridiculous line of reasoning you employ. Seriously, read some philosophy of religion. Now, I've read a lot of philosophy of religion. I don't know if I read more. I don't know. I mean, I have read a lot, right? He says your arrogance knows no bounds, right? My arrogance knows so bounds. I'm so arrogant. Oh my gosh. I'm so arrogant that I am willing to, entertain this while I'm losing brain cells, basically. Now he had no actual points there, but so for the problem of evil, the one that I'm sure he's talking about. So it's you see, things cannot have an up without being a down. You cannot have evil without having good, right? So this is not me resolving it. This has been said from a lot of people before me, but I'm just saying that this is, because people who always talk about the problem of evil, they do not address this point, which in my opinion it's very good point against it. The problem of evil. You know, but he didn't have any way of he couldn't prove against it, so that's really on him. I've already said my proof, which is that if you have a world that it does not have an up, it won't have a down. If you have a world that it does not have light, then it cannot have dark. A blind person who is born blind were asked, um, what does the word black mean to you? What does the word dark mean to you? He says these two words are absolutely meaningless. You see, you know why? Because he's blind. When you're blind, concept of light, the contrast between light and dark does not exist to you. There's simply nothing. There's no dark, there is no black. It's just nothing. So when you don't have any good, you don't have any bad, an existence would not exist. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what is his reply to that. And then fifth thing, women being commanded to be silent in church is not inherently sexist? How is silencing someone based on their gender not inherently sexist? Do you hear yourself? To strip one gender of its right to express itself is the definition of sexism? And please, your excuse about women having higher pitched voices is pathetic. And is not supported by any biblical evidence, especially that book, since Genesis has treated women as subservient to men, try to excuse that less transparently weak. Try and excuse that as less transparently weak. I don't know if it's that weak because you misrepresented my argument. I didn't say so. So let's dissect that one by one. Women being commanded to be silent in church is not inherently sexist. So in the video, I have said I'm not sure what he means by sexted, but I'm assuming that to treat genders differently based on their sex. From that point of view, yes, from that definition, it is considered sexist. But this is the thing, right? I disbelieve in this definition. This is my argument. I think to treat different genders differently does not mean you inherently consider one superior to the other person. In the same way that you would not use fork and spoon equally to drink soup, in the same way you would not have the same rulings for men and women. You should not, at least. This is not sexism. So this is my dispute with that. I'm not saying that it's not inherently sexist by, I'm guessing, that definition. How is silencing someone based on their gender is not inherently sexist? I just explained that. You're probably not even seeing the comment that I'm talking about. So no, wait, it's already here. To strip one gender of its right to express itself is a definition of sexism. If that is true, there are many instances where men are commanded not to talk, but women can. You see, by this same argument, I would like to express myself by going into the women's bathroom. Is that something that makes sense to you? Just the fact that you're limiting somebody's right based on their gender means it's sexist? I do not think so. And he does not provide a further argument to that. And please, your excuse about women having higher pitch, it sounds more British than that, And please, your excuse about women having higher pitched voices. Could you prove otherwise? You would say it's not supported anywhere in the Bible as evidence. Well, the lack of proof does not mean it is not the truth. You see, isn't this the whole argument about somebody who is an agnostic. So you cannot prove something, but you cannot you cannot prove it and you cannot disprove it. So you cannot disprove that it is because of that. So it really lays on you to prove it is not because of that, or. So I'm not saying it is for sure that. I am saying it is possible that it is because of that. You cannot disprove that this is not possible unless that you bring something from the Bible that would says otherwise clearly, right? So yeah, so you misinterpreted, you misrepresented what I said. I didn't say that it has to be that. I said that it is possible that higher pitch on women voices might have played a role in that ruling. Uh, Especially in the book that since Genesis had treated women subservient to men. I don't really have a lot of comments on that. I do not defend all Christianity. Whether that in the Bible it said that or not, this is not my thing. I do not defend all Christianity. I am coming from a point of view of somebody who has a theology, who is a spiritual person, and I don't like to go further into that for personal reasons. I believe it is something personal to me, but I'm coming from a view of a person who is a theist, who's not an atheist. No, no, who is theistic. I am theistic person, right? Now, what theology? I don't know. It's not something that I like to necessarily speak about. But yeah, so this is my reply to these points. I mean, I lost few brain cells, but it was kind of fun. I did not exactly hate that. It was sort of draining. It was sort of just obvious. Like anybody who watched that would know. You know, well, I could go into other comments into other videos that were also equally dumb. Um, but I think this has been long enough, so let's just stop here, right? If you're having a good day, if this has been entertaining to you, please, just give it a like if you want. Have a reply, just like a bunch of these people, or not. And, stay good and don't budge.